you. I'm talking to you. We see it. Talking to you. Are you talking to you? Are you talking to you? You ready? I'm talking to you. We see it. Talking to you. I'm talking to you. Talking to you.
But like, I guess back in your time, was there ever talk? Is like this stock conversation always kills me. I always try to figure out when that started. Was that always the case, or were guys getting punished for taking more battles, or what? Like, what was the perception then?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I always kind of saw it that way a little bit, like, but then at the same time, it would, like we talk about like Scribble Jam and all those like really like freestyle battles. It was like you were just entering battles all the time and just trying to beat everybody to get your name up. And then, of course, we were all trying to be recording artists. So the goal, to me at least, that's what I was trying to do. And so the goal was to get your name up and get some recognition and then have some success in the industry. It's like a record deal was like the holy grail. So to me, it was always about that being the end goal. And I would see guys like, Thesaurus or Immaculate. It's like, to me, once they won Scribble Jam, like, I wouldn't have gotten back in it personally, and they kept diving in it. So, I respect the hell out of that shit because it takes a lot of guts, or it's just like commitment to like battling itself. They're wanting to like continue to reprove something. You know what I mean? So like, I think people always had an eye on like taking big battles and trying to move up in the ranks, but I do think that also there's some people who are better at that, at identifying that than others. You know what I mean? And I think when you look at someone like Mook, he's getting a lot of criticism for being kind of dormant or whatever, but one of his biggest talents that you can't deny is his ability to be strategic with his career. You know what I mean? And like, that's that's something really important that he brings to the table. You know what I mean? And then you look at anybody, you look at Hollow, Lux, like anybody that you're going to put up there is somebody that's making really strategic moves, and like, even you look at where JC is at. Look how quickly that conversation changes when you don't make the right choices. You know what I mean? Like, whether or not JC is capable of beating Twerk, like, I've seen a lot of people just like, like, I don't think the road to Lux is paved with Twerk right now, no matter what. Like, win, lose, or draw, like, why are you even taking this battle? You know what I mean? And again, like, I feel like I keep mentioning Twerk. I'm actually, like, I really, really rock with Twerk. He's super fire. Right. He's 100%, no disrespect, and like, we had great conversation just kicking it at the event. For some reason that's fresh in my mind, that matchup. But you know what I'm saying? Like, JC, like, maybe he didn't see the strategy or whatever it was, or he's just so committed to it and he doesn't, he's not like, doesn't have that like healthy fear of the possibilities. I respect it. I respect it. From a competitor standpoint, I respect it like crazy because it takes just confidence and bravery to be like, I'm a battle. Like, I mean, how many battles do you have back to back to back? It's crazy. You know what I mean? Between from T-Top to, from Chess. Well, he had Chess at Born Legacy Supreme, right? So you look at Chess, T-Top, Immaculate, Twerk in like a mad short period of time, right? I mean,
and Trez, I think.
And right, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I respect that a lot, but I think at the same time, if you're really trying to like get to that point, you got to look at, what's the risk? In business investing, it's like, what's the risk versus the reward? You know what I mean? Risk versus reward. Like, what is the risk of taking this battle? What can I lose if I lose? And what do I stand to gain if I win? And, like, I think a lot of people, they're maybe just missing that piece of the strategy from the portfolio, and that's why they don't make it to the top. And then actually, you know, speaking of that, like, you got to salute Rock, because he's somebody who has taken the I don't give a fuck approach, and he's gotten himself all the way up there. You know what I mean? Like, he battled the newest of the new, and the best, right? He battled Diz. He battled Diz, he battled Hollow, and he battled Chess this year. Like, who else? I don't know. Nobody else is doing that. You know what I mean? And he's still on the mountain. You know what I mean? So.
Right. This is what I want to ask you though. Is because we see what you did in the small room. You know, being there, that shit was dope, and I think a lot of people respect you, and they get it. You know what I'm saying? And you earn that respect, or whatever people might have had you messed up. I get that, but is the test for you? You feel like the big stage, is that still lingering in the back of your head to get on that URL platform, that Summer Madness, and kind of get that going again, or like what are the goals here now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's like I want to, you know, I want to take it as far as I can take it, and I think that those are two different animals, right? You know, like, I think that people's ears are open, but I don't think that I'm, you know, I'm smart enough to know that just because this battle went well, you know, I'm not just gonna fucking, you know, just like stroll onto the stage and just, you know, get the Tay-Rock love, and you know what I mean? Like, I definitely have enough respect for the game and just the difference between the different elements to know that, like, you know, it's two different things. So there's still more. There's definitely still more to prove. You know what I mean? And you know, I came back because there was a time, you know, regardless of what you know feel about where my position is at now, or where it's been for the last few years or whatever it is. You know, there was a time where it was me. You know, like I said, Lux called me out. I turned Lux down for Mook. I headlined Summer Madness over Lux, you know, with Mook.
Whoa! What?
Yeah, at that time.
You can't just casually say shit like that, Iron. We haven't got you up here yet. We need to like let's talk about that. Like, how did that even come about?
I'm saying, like, Lux, you know, Lux had a whole press conference to call me out, and then and I was like, why, if I can battle Mook? And you know, Lux wasn't casket Lux. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still hasn't battled in a long time. 106 in Park, like, that's cool, but Mook is the logo. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I had already gone so far in the game that it was like, look, if, you know, I probably could get out. You know, I could probably stop after one more battle if it's with one of these two guys who are like all the way up there. So it just made more sense. You know what I'm saying? And so me versus Mook, you know, was the headliner of Summer Madness, right? Like, how many people have headlined Summer Madness? That's a small talent pool right there, right? So at that time, you know, the conversation of the actual, like, the Mount Rushmore was like probably me and those guys, and, like, you know, Hollow working his way into the conversation, and, like, you know, but I was there, you know what I'm saying? And so once I seen my name fall off that list, I wanted to just reprove that I could just climb my way back up there again and show people why I, you know, was meant to be there in the first place. Because, you know, in hip hop, and especially in battle rap, it's like you make one, like, little move and it's like, matter of fact, he was never dope anyway. Like, you go from one day being like the greatest thing that ever
Yeah,
happened.
I hate that.
And yeah, it's like, yo, you know what? I never liked this shit. Yo, you know what? He fucked up. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Like, he was always corny to me. Like, I never really fucked with that shit, you know? And it's funny because now I've seen the same thing in reverse. Like, I've seen some people where in their timeline they'd be like, yo, they need to keep that King of the Dot shit over on King of the Dot, right? And then after the battle, yo, see, that's what I'm saying. Solomon was never no King of the Dot rapper. He was always a smack rapper. Like, this is like straight up the same people saying that shit. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like, yo, I was on the Rushmore. They took me off, or I took myself off. You know, only a few people. Like, there's probably only a pool of like 10 to 15 people that you might even choose from to put on your, you know, on that mountain. And like, I was up there, and you know, I'm putting myself back up there, bro. Like that's the goal. You know what I mean? And I think that at this stage in the game, I think that does include the big stage. You know what I mean? It's got to at a certain point.
So that's not volume one though. That's no room. That shit is crazy right there. I still like that better than the main stage myself watching.
Yeah, you like it better?
I mean, like I'm saying,
I like the wave.
That was shorter. You hear every word. I mean, in the main stage, the fans be fucking the battles up. These should be like an hour long, all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you. It kind of it takes away that momentum of like actually being a rapper, right? It's like you can't get into any kind of pattern or know nothing. It's more like being a stand-up comedian, you know, in certain ways, because it's like you say something and it hits and people go crazy, and then, you know, there's a disconnect from like, yo, the battle, you know, think about Meek Mill or Reed Dollars, like, you know, where they're just going in, but then you might hear, or Cassidy, like Cassidy versus Freeway. It's like you probably heard those rhymes on a mixtape at some point. That's totally gone, right? Especially on the big stage, where it's like you writing 2 bars at a time and waiting for reaction. But I think it's part of it, you know. It's part of it. And you look at people like, you know, Hitman Holla, Conceited, this generation that kind of like was kind of, you know, built that stage. And I think that, you know, if you want to be mentioned with those names to a certain extent, like that's one of the chambers. And for me, I've always been about doing it all. Like, you know, that shit, like the whole 4 elements thing that I did in the battle, it's like that, you know, that's facts. Like I fucking, you know, was doing graffiti and sneaking out my crib at 2 a.m. and, you know, spending a whole night doing graffiti, sneak back in before the sun comes up and writing rhymes. And then, you know, I could DJ a little bit and scratch something, like, you know, do a little 6-step breakdancing. Like, you want to do it all. And if you're an MC, you know, when that really became like the main focus for me, you want to do it all also. Like, we love Biggie because he could do a party record and a street record and a joint for the ladies and then a personal one. And then, you know, we love Pac because he did Dear Mama and I Get Around and Brenda's Got a Baby. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm just looking at how I measure greatness in hip hop, how I measure greatness in an MC, and even if it's just limited to battle rap. And it's like, you know, for me, it was like, oh, if you're going to be a rapper, you got to make all those good songs and you got to be able to kill a cipher and win a battle. And since I'm not really the recording artist piece of it isn't really like in the cards for me at the moment. If I'm going to be going after the battle thing, then let's look at that the same way. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to just be good at one piece of this thing here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be good at it all. You gotta be well rounded. I don't know if that's some old timer shit or whatever that is, but that's just how I feel about the culture personally. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with getting older, man. One thing I don't like is a fake young dude. So it's cool that you kept that style going and shit like that. But let's just I want to ask you to just out on some lyrical, like as a writer, you know what I'm saying? Like if you call out bad writing or things you think is like, that's a little whack or whatever, just what you see going on right now, is there anything maybe you could pinpoint that you like we all set on that? Because I've seen a lot of trends this year in writing, you know?
Yeah, like what type of, like what trends, like
you got the like bars, really putting the 2 random things together to make a thing, you know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Yeah, that shit is so,
you know what
that
I'm saying?
shit is so, like, 1997 to me, like, and I think, like, Danny Myers, like, the thing I love about Danny Myers is that he reminds me, like, he has the most 90s, he has some really advanced shit, but he has the most 90s '90s style like that. And who else do they say does that? Is Jerry West, right? With the random things together. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Like if it doesn't really make sense. You know, the main kind of overarching thing for me is like complicated doesn't necessarily mean good. Like we've gotten to this point where the punchlines like can be so advanced, but if it's not there, yo, like just walk away. Like if like to me, I might think of a concept and be like, oh, that's crazy. But I'm gonna sit there until the pieces of the puzzle really fit together. And if it don't fit, like, you know, you gotta, you know, crack a couple eggs and make omelets sometimes. Like you gotta have discipline to be like, damn, like that's almost there, but it's a reach. Or like, yeah, you know, that I get it, but like nobody talks like that, bro. You know what I mean? Like even the you know. With the can, sir. You know what I mean? Like, with the can, sir. Like, how many times has somebody described shooting a gun and used the word sir, like, in the streets? You know what I mean? Like, so, and you know, that's just one that comes to mind. Is like, just the complex, the really overly complex punchlines that aren't clean. Like, make that shit clean so it really fucking works. And if it's simple and clean and it's good, then it's good. Like, complicated necessarily mean good, and make that shit sound like some shit you would really say. If you got to twist your words to sound like you're fucking Sir Lancelot or King Arthur, you know what I mean? Like that's probably not. That's not it. That's not it to me. You know what I mean?
That's not the one. That's not it. That's not the one,
sir. That's not the one, sir. Yeah, it's not.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
Yeah, that's good. Shit. Yo, you know what? One more question. I have to let you know. I know it's late and shit. So
no, that's good, man. I'm here.
Okay. What was your hardest battle? If you had to choose one.
I mean, the worst experience is getting 5-0'd, right? But like aside from that, you know,
sheesh.
Diz was crazy and Ilmac was crazy. Like I think Ilmac had the best, like, he put together the best, like, angles. You know, he says this thing that's like it's all about controlling the narrative, you know what I mean? And I think that he just did it really well. And he took information that people think, you know, have about me or think they have about me, and he put it together in a way that I thought was just, like, was tough. It was really personal and just, like, very just well played and strategic, you know. And then Diz was similar with the angles. Maybe his angles are incredible. I think Ilmac's angles were better, you know, just by a little bit. But then Diz is retarded. Like he's just a different type of person, and just the energy and the like incessant, like rapid fire shit, like was crazy. You know what I mean? And then Nitty, man, I mean, yo, like, you know, Nitty really, you know, his slogan is 99% gun bars, right? Other 1% is the slogan. That means it's 100% gun bars. Like, for somebody who's committed to only doing one thing, and all he's doing is just punch, 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 and he's standing in front of, you know, angles and all this different shit, and the battle is that close and debatable like that is crazy, yo. Like, you got to be the greatest. You got to be the greatest at that. Like, he has to be the greatest at that to be able to pull that off. You know what I mean? Because look at T-Top versus Av, right? Like, that's kind of a similar thing where it's like, damn, like, sometimes the punches don't look the same in front of those angles. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I mean, you know, salute him. I think Conceited got to see him.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
Everybody was still talking about Conceited and Tavok. Niggas still want to see that?
I don't know. That doesn't excite me as much as Conceited and Nitty. I think at this point, yeah, I mean, I want to see it because I'd just be curious because I feel like people love Tay-Rock so much, and I think Conceited's wordplay and his like duck face at a certain point got like people got kind of like they heard the joke before and they're kind of like, all right, like
duck face.
We can't slow it down much more. You know what I mean? Yeah, and again, like I'm just talking shit. Like I really, really fuck with Conceited. I think he's incredible and has contributed so much to the culture. And I like him personally. I just think that it got to a point where people were like over the thing that he does, you know, and it's not a gimmick, but it's like his branded way of rapping. People kind of like got over it, you know what I mean? And I think that Tay-Rock is just a force to be reckoned with. But at the same time, you know, obviously Conceited is like more of a writer than Rock, so it would be an interesting matchup. But I think Conceited versus Nitty would be just crazy because I think that Nitty would push Conceited to really like go there, writing wise, you know what I mean? And then you know that Nitty's gonna be out of control.
Hey yo, how do you feel about about the Eclipse battle? I know you didn't really mention that anything.
It was kind of a weird crowd, and like you know, I don't want to rest on that because I blame myself. You gotta like do it. You have to do what you're supposed to do regardless of the crowd. But I think the material was fire on both sides, and that it's just kind of a weird environment at that moment. You know what I mean? But I think the material was crazy, and I think that if you look at the freestyles from that battle, that's my thing about coming back was like, I want to step into people's chamber, like with, I want to punch or be Magic. I want to, Clips is known as the freestyle guy of this era. One of the freestyle guys of this era. Yeah, I'm a freestyle with Clips. And like, if you look in that battle, it's like, rebuttals every round, freestyles in the middle of the round. I think that stuff was dope. I'm glad that it worked out like that. But I feel like the battle overall was just kind of lackluster. Partly because of the crowd, but then again, I'm taking responsibility because, you're supposed to wig out even if the crowd isn't really giving it up like that. So, I think it's unfortunate because me versus Clips should be something better. It's still a crazy battle, I think, but I don't think it's as good as it could have been because it was just the end of the night. Sometimes the Toronto crowd isn't always all like battle rap insider enthusiasts, like up there. It just sometimes is like pretty girls and people that, want to hang out on a Friday night. And so when, especially someone like me, where I'm just writing for people that really fucking get it and really listen, like, it's just not the same. It's not the same energy always, you know what I mean? But again, like I said, you can't expect that. You can't expect the crowd to be there, so you got to just go for it. I would never let that happen again. You know what I mean? If it was like, my performance to be affected by the energy of the room, you gotta go beyond that.
Are you more comfortable on the King of the Dark crowd or ULL crowd, or the equal to you?
More, say it again.
I said, are you more comfortable battling in the King of the Dark atmosphere or a ULL atmosphere?
It's just different, Like I've always moved in all the different circles. You know what I mean? When I was doing Scribble Jam and fucking battling Awkward in Kentucky, the next weekend I would come back to New York and do Fight Club, or be on the street in Times Square, or be on a corner somewhere or in a barbershop, and then the next week go back out to Ohio and do Scribble Jam, and the street shit, like, I'm from New York, so that there's something about it that feels comfortable, the slang that people use and the way, everybody makes fun of each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's not in the ring, there's a comfort there. But I like to be able to move in each environment, I think writing-wise, I prefer the wordplay of the, New York, snack URL shit. But it's, you know, I like both environments, man. I like all that shit. And again, like, as much as I came up, you know, being in that room, you know, Cortez is like, we, you know, we used to live around the corner from each other for like 10 years. So got family there, but at the same time, you know, I used to, you know, I've known Immaculate since he was fucking 17, you know, and Thesaurus, like, you know, we've known each other 15 years, you know, going to Scribble Jam, going to fucking Brainstorm in Seattle, and so it's all just different, you know what I mean? It's all different sides of the coin, you know what I mean? Sometimes you want to be one place, sometimes you need Nas, sometimes you need Jay, and you know, sometimes you need Young Thug. Just whatever the mood calls for, you know what I mean?
That's a fact. So we're going to get up out of here for the show cut off on us right now. We definitely appreciate you calling up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you for having me. Just, you know,
word up, man.
You know, I appreciate the review, the positivity, the support. I just appreciate the passion for the culture, you know what I mean? And, like, just keep doing your thing and keep just documenting it, and it's dope, man. It's dope. I love where we are at as a community, as a culture, and what you guys are contributing to it. It's out of there. It makes sense for there to be commentators and bloggers and people documenting it. Like, you know, it's come a long way, and it's I'm proud of me, proud of myself, proud of you, proud of all y'all, proud of us as a culture, and just, you know, salute. Thank you for having me. Keep doing your fucking thing, man, because it's important, you know.
Word. No doubt. Because if you lose, we gonna flame you, but you know, we fuck.
Nah, I
want
what
that, you're doing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Just say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, bro.
All right, fellas.
All right, peace.
Easy.
Big shout out to Iron Solomon.
Word up, man. Shout out to Iron Solomon, man. Yo, shout out to Alabama too, man, because the jokes was gonna fly if y'all had elected that pedophile. Like, the jokes was gonna fly, but yeah. Caps, man, what up? Caps, so you gonna let so if you was battling, somebody reach their hand over and like we just we putting that in the same category as it's tough, but like we just letting that happen, Caps.
I'm not rocking with that excuse, man. I can't do that, son.
We can't. No.
My nigga, I'm not rocking with that excuse. See? I mean, I feel when he's trying to downplay it. I get it. I just really broke for a couple of cents. The nigga take a wallet out their pocket, son. There's no way we're not gonna talk about this shit, son. Yo,
3%.
Go ahead.
You said I talk regular when you get your wallet back. See, you know what? This is the thing. This is the other thing too, man. It's just like I don't know. Like those other things. I guess you're trying to say the other things are also bad too. But at the same time, bro, we putting that in the same. It goes in the same category in my head. I'm sorry. You could like the ball sweats and all that bullshit that happened. Like, nah, you in there. They make a compilation of just wild shit in battles. It'd be, oh, you mad because I'm styling on you. It'd be, woo! And then it'd be fucking Low Pesci, and then it'd be you. Standing there as another man takes contents out of your pocket, looks through them, and returns them to you. Like an officer doing a fucking sobriety test. I don't know what is going on. I don't know. I almost felt like he sold it so well. I almost felt like, well, damn, is he? Then I kept thinking about it, like, your wallet though. I can't. Okay, all right. Anyway, it's 12 o'clock. Caps, man.
This nigga really cool, bro. Trying to act all G'd up about this shit. Like, what, man? This shit is corny. Like, no, nigga, it's not corny. This shit's hilarious, my nigga. Like, this shit is crazy.
I'm about to go watch the first round of Hitman versus Bill Collector again, so I can Just so I can.
I'm watching.
I feel like I feel like that should just be something people watch once a month. Just Omega, if you whatever you're doing, watch Hitman's first round against Bill Collector. Just the first 2 minutes or so. Because I don't know. Whatever.
I'm watching this while I'm thinking of getting them out, man.
All right, man. All right, yo. Everybody out there, man, subscribe, tune in, man. Make sure you hit Caps at Angry Fan 007. Hit me at Tone Capo. You send all your hate mail my way, and subscribe to the show and shit like that. Stitcher, iTunes, and Blog Talk. Make sure you keep your wallet in your pockets at all times. And yeah,
It shouldn't.
we out of here. All right, yo. Peace.
Talking to you. You ready? Talking to you. We see it. Talking to you. Are you talking to you? Are you talking to you? You ready? Talking to you.